Sarah's hands trembled as she stared at her phone, watching another missed call from the hospital flash across the screen. At 45, she thought she'd have more time before this moment arrived, the moment when her parents would need her more than her own children did. The warning signs had been there for years, lurking beneath the surface of what seemed like normal aging. Her 78-year-old father's tremor had started small, barely noticeable when he'd reach for his morning coffee. Her 75-year-old mother, diagnosed with dementia 5 years earlier, had slowly been slipping away, one forgotten conversation at a time. But her father, her strong, stubborn, executive father, had insisted he could handle everything. When the time comes, he'd say whenever Sarah and her out-of-country brother offered help. The time had come like a tsunami. Last month, everything unraveled with terrifying speed. Her father began seeing things that weren't there, his eyes wild with paranoia as he accused his wife of 67 years of stealing from him. The man who once managed million-dollar budgets couldn't remember his own bank passwords. The couple who had lived independently for decades were drinking from 9 a.m. until bedtime, their days blurring into an alcohol-soaked haze of confusion and fear. Sarah's heart shattered when she discovered they'd been living without cell phone service for months, too confused to pay the bill. Their driver's licenses had expired 5 years ago, around the time her mother's dementia diagnosis came, and they'd been driving illegally ever since. Her father, in his paranoid rage, had been canceling her mother's memory care appointments, sabotaging the very help she desperately needed. The final blow came when her father wandered off, leaving her defenseless mother alone and terrified. The social worker's words echoed in Sarah's mind. "Call the paramedics. It's the only way to get them priority placement in long-term care." Now both parents lay in sterile hospital beds, their eyes vacant when she visited. They didn't recognize their own daughter, the woman who'd been juggling her full-time job, 2 grade school children, and a husband battling his own health issues while trying to save them from themselves. The executives who once commanded respect and earned upper-middle-class salaries had left behind no estate planning, no power of attorney, no roadmap for this nightmare. "I spent all our money," her mother had announced during one of her last lucid moments, the words hitting Sarah like a physical blow. Decades of financial security, gone. Now Sarah and her husband, both contract workers living paycheck to paycheck, faced mounting legal fees to untangle the mess their parents had created. The guilt gnawed at her like a living thing. She could only manage 1 hospital visit per week, torn between her crumbling parents and her own family who needed her. When the home care nurses had tried to help, her parents had sent them away and wandered off again, sealing their fate in institutional care. Sarah collapsed into bed each night, wondering if she was a terrible daughter for not taking them in, for not visiting more, for feeling angry at the people who gave her life. Her children needed stability. Her husband needed support through his illness, but her parents needed everything she couldn't give. The woman who once called them for advice now held their lives in her hands, making decisions they could no longer make for themselves. She was drowning in responsibility she never asked for, grieving parents who were still alive but already gone. Every day felt like choosing between saving herself or watching her family's foundation crumble. The weight of being the responsible one, the local one, the daughter who had to fix everything, pressed down on her chest until she could barely breathe. She stared at the legal documents spread across her kitchen table. Power of attorney forms, court orders, bills that would drain their savings. Her parents' legacy wasn't memories or inheritance. It was chaos, confusion, and the crushing burden of cleaning up a lifetime of avoided decisions. What would you do in Sarah's impossible situation? How do you balance caring for aging parents while protecting your own family? Share your thoughts and experiences. You're not alone in this struggle.